Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. Well, today I'm out here in the pasture. We've started feeding hay to the cows, and I explained a couple videos ago that normally we don't start having to feed hay until later on in the year, November, December even sometimes, because we have mild winters and the grasses will continue to grow. And the last couple winters, in February and March, we've gotten some really cold temperatures and some snows. But before that, 4, 5, 6 years even, we've had pretty mild winters. And so we've been able to save hay and actually have hay left over. But we've started having to feed the cows and having to fill the water troughs. You can probably hear that running back behind me. We have these troughs that we have running for the cows, and you can see I just got that one filled, and there is a little water spilled over on the ground. That is not rain by no means. That's just overflow from the trough. And we've got another trough here. The cows are up eating, and and they'll come up here and drink their water. The pond that's in this pasture is completely dry. The next pasture over does have water, but it's just thought I'd show you the condition of our pasture. It's just, you can see it's just, get down here where you can, it's just powdery. This is usually really good and grassy pasture, and this is just what it's been. With no rains and a terribly dry summer, this is what we're left with. And you can see it just, it's just terrible. Now, this stuff will burn like crazy, even as short as it is. A lot of people think with it being short that we're safe from burning, but that is not the case. This stuff will burn, and we know from experience a few years back, Papa Tex was burning some stuff way off on the backside of the farm, and in just a little bit of time it got away and burned all the way up here to the house, and we had to get the water hoses out and start spraying. And Howie was on the fire department at the time, and he ran to the fire station and got a fire truck and brought it out here and was able to get the pasture fire put out. But that can be real trouble considering how dry all of this is, and no rain in sight. The temperatures are cooler, but it is still just so crazy dry. Just everywhere you look, where there would normally be green in here for the cows to eat and for the chickens and the poultry to scratch around on, it's just gone. The chickens could definitely dust bath, but there's no green grasses for them to enjoy, not anything for the cows. There's a few patches of green that is getting fed through a little bit of manure and maybe a leaking water hose every once in a while. And so there's a little bit of green, but for the most part, none. Now out here in the garden, things are definitely suffering. We're trying to water as much as we can, but things are so dry. But we have little blooms on the tomatoes, and there are little tomatoes. There's a lot of green tomatoes. So we're still getting fruit. You can see it hanging on here. And we've got fruits. We've got the peppers are hanging on. Definitely need another watering. You can see that we have a lot of tomatoes hanging on the vines that are ready to pick. They have turned red and ripe. They're not huge tomatoes, but they are tomatoes, and we will eat them. I may not get to put a whole lot of them up, but we will enjoy the harvest that we've gotten, and we'll continue to water them. There are blooms on them. Some of them are teeny tiny, so I don't know you know, they've just kind of been stunted a little bit, but we'll do the best we can. I've got a bunch that are, we have a bunch on here that are in various stages of ripening, so tomato harvest is not over. We'll just keep plugging away at it, watering, between watering the tomatoes and watering the cows and the other animals. We'll just keep working at it. Here are my butter peas. They are dried on the vine. I'll pick these and shell them out, and they'll be dried. But let me show you the okra. My beautiful stand of okra was attacked by ants. And when I say attacked, I mean full-on attack. They got all over this okra. I'm sorry, the kid. Hush, puppy, hush. They got all over this okra and just wiped it out. There's a few pods on here that are salvageable, but most of it is just ate up by the ants. They just did a number on it. We've got a couple of watermelons to take to the house and enjoy. It looks like this will be it for the year for the watermelons. Everything else has succumbed to the weather, but we'll take these in, and hopefully these will be good and sweet and delicious. And we'll see what else I can find. Well, guys, we went to the garden and I showed you the condition of our pasture. Across the road, I hope you can see it across there behind this truck, is one of the hay fields that we get our hay from every year. We got our earlier season hay from it. Usually they get a second cutting, but I can tell you that it's not going to happen this year. And in the long run, that actually can be a fire hazard. So, you know, everybody kind of has to keep an eye out for one another, all the different farmers and the neighbors, just to make sure that, you know, if we see any kind of issues, we get it resolved quickly. And we'll do the best we can. There's not going to be a second harvest of hay, and so we'll have to start feed the hay that we've got now, hope for a mild winter and plenty of moisture so that the grasses will grow back. Like I said earlier, we have had our cows eating grass up into November and December, and we don't know if that's going to happen this year. Right now the grass is definitely dormant. It's just kind of kaput. There's no mowing. There's no really work in the fields unless you're, you know, trying to take care of weed suppression and that kind of stuff. But the ground is so hard and cracking and dusty, we showed you, that there's not really any efforts being made to get out in the fields and try to fertilize and plant. There's no way that small farmers such as myself could even water our fields if we put out rye or wheat or turnips or anything like that. So right now we're just holding on, and we're doing a lot of praying. We hope that all of y'all are as well. And we'll just keep trudging along and trust the Lord that things will turn around for us, and that we'll get some rains and things might improve just a bit. So keep your heads up and pay attention to those things that are going on around you. This is going to affect, I think, our country and the world. I'm not to be scaremongers or anything like that, but we can't help the beef cattle being hit and the fields and the crops being hit without it trickling down and affecting everybody. So just make sure that you are putting up stock, putting up provisions for your family. There's some things that we've got planned in place to add to our reserves, just to make sure that we've got, so that when times are really lean, if we get a bad winter and all of the extra has to go to feed and that kind of stuff for the cows, well, we don't have to worry about being able to feed the family because we've got it in stock. So there you go, guys. That's the state of Cedar Creek. We are dry, 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 and cracked. The garden season is about over. Still have some tomatoes and peppers, some beans dried on the vine, and peas that we can harvest. But things are winding down here, and we'll just keep doing what we know to do. Okay, guys, until next time, this is Josie. Love you guys, I really do. Keep looking well to the ways of your household, and we'll be all right. Until next time, we're gone.